Gary, although the result didn't go your way last week, how much was it a step in the right direction on the previous week and give you something to build on going into Yeovil?
It's a good question, because all your little steps have got to be in the right direction if you can. Some people try and hold you back a little bit, but with comments that are made sometimes. But I thought the boys give it a bit of a go, and as I said at the end of the game, it was a matter of just sticking the ball in the back of the net, which is the main part of the game, of course. But if we'd have found that, then it would have been construed as a decent performance. Of course, we're all disappointed at the end of the game. The boys are, I am, because we've lost the game. And I'd just like to say now, any responsibility is always the manager's. Surely the manager hasn't got to say things like that. He's here, and he's here to be shot at, and you can ask whatever questions you want. But some people keep talking about the manager not taking responsibility. Christ, I think I do that enough. Sometimes I say things about players, like last year when we said some players weren't up to it, and then we suddenly picked up. So there's a little bit of motivation that somebody's not picked up on that. And so I thought it was a very good performance, but not a very good result. And as the manager, I take responsibility for every dodgy result, every dodgy performance, everything that goes on at the club that's not quite right, because you can affect it and change it. And I try to, and I promise you, I'm working very, very hard, 100% along the way, to get it right for the majority of supporters that will stay behind us.
On the new lads who you've brought in, how much better will they be for a full week's training this week, going into a second game at the club?
Well, with a new group, it's always good to have that sometimes, because there's always a little balance between do you work them all through, do you work them when it's Saturday, Tuesday games, Saturday games? Do you work them hard? Do you take them? Take the workload off them a little bit. Do you work on technical stuff? Do you work on the fitness stuff? So it's a balance that you have to do. But I think what we've created at the moment is some decent competition, and what that does, it means that all training sessions are a bit lively, because everybody wants, all the lads here are footballers that want to play football, and they do want to play, and they do get disappointed when things don't go well for them or the team. And I've just got to try and keep their confidence if I can, or motivate them in different sort of ways, like I've done over the years, and been pretty successful with it.
And you talk about competition there. How difficult is selection this week? Because Jamie Grimes is available again. Nigel Attengana presumably is better. So you've got extra numbers coming back into your squad.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? 1 minute people are moaning about having a small squad, then when you get a big squad, they're all saying, well, who are you going to play and what are you going to do? Listen, I said we needed 18 or so first team players, and if I've got that as a problem, then that's good, because you can't just leave people out every time you lose, or every time they haven't produced. Having said that, they now know that if they don't produce for too long, their place will be in jeopardy, and that's what we got. And despite what other people say, we have got cover in all positions, and you can talk about maybe Pelly being the one that people feel that's a round peg in a square hole, or whatever it is, these drawings people want to put out. But he hasn't played well for a little while himself, and we tried to get him working from in to out. But Winnie's position is exactly right. He loves it there, and he's played there. He played there at Oldham, and I think he's creating a lot of opportunities for us. And him and Dawes down that side, the old Irish partnership, is one part of the team that's working very well.
And actually, those partnerships and players being informed. You mentioned Pelly there. Do you almost have to be in form to be winning the place in your best position, if you like, and partnerships can affect that. And that all comes into.
You've got to be on the pitch. You've got to be on there. Pelly does a lot of work in our defending penalty area from set plays. He's always popping up and heading it away, and that gives us that. And what with Pelly is, he's one of the best players in the league on the pitch, wherever he plays. I mean, he played well for us last year at wide right. And what we're trying to achieve is, a situation where Dawes is getting down because he is a winger, so we have got wingers, by the way. And we're trying to get him to cross it, and then you've got a big fella on the back stick. Unfortunately, we've had crosses, but we haven't taken those opportunities that we wanted to take. So eventually, the team will settle down when players become a little bit more consistent. All right, and their inconsistency is my fault.
How's Jarrell Sellers at the moment?
Pardon?
How's Jarrell Sellers?
Jarrell Sellers is close. He's close, and that's good. He's going to train today as normal, and looking forward to getting him back in the fray. This week might be just too early, but I'm looking forward to getting a very good footballer back on the pitch.
What are your thoughts going to Yeovil? Because obviously you went back there last season. It wasn't a happy return for you, and I suppose a lot of those players have moved on. But it's still a special day for you.
I was happy to return, but obviously the result is what you're talking about. It wasn't a good result, and then we beat them at our place later on in the year, didn't we? So it's always good to go back because I had a good time there. I know Darren's very committed in his management personality, very passionate, and as always when you go down there, which is why the club's been successful, is they've got a passion and a commitment to the cause, and we've got to go there and match that, and hopefully take one or two of our chances that we're sort of creating. I know you'll say, well, we only had one shot on target. We did, and we got to improve on that against Stevenage. But there were still several opportunities where we could have hit the target and didn't.
And Yeovil have been leaking goals this season, so I suppose that just purely from a mental point of view must give you a bit of confidence going into the game.
Well, I try never to lose confidence going into a game because every game's different. What you got to have is just you hope that the footballer in them comes out, as well as the passion to get a result. And in a league where everybody's sort of much of a muchness, as you've seen, there wasn't a million miles between us and Stevenage or us and Exeter, and they're both at the top there. So one day we'll get the run of the green, the rub of the green as well, and pick up a result when it was close. So we just got to keep going, get the next result, settle everything down, and the lads will then hopefully try and pick up back-to-back wins. And
at this time when things aren't always going right, you talk about no shrinking violets. Have you seen that sort of reaction from them this week? Of there are no shrinking violets?
No, there's no shrinking violets. They've all. This is a group that are real proper committed, and I think again, if you showed the video without the goals from Saturday, then you'll see that they look committed as well. And so I was really pleased with. I'm pleased with this group's commitment to the cause. And sometimes we're going to be up, sometimes we're going to be down, but there's a commitment there, that's for sure.